Hey traders, checking out of the cryptocurrency space. Bitcoin confirms the daily downtrend leading to weekly consolidation. What does this mean bigger picture? Are there any red flags? I'll let you know what my game plan is, and we'll discuss a bit the difference between conservative versus aggressive with this current situation. So none of us are surprised by this weekly consolidation. Why? Because it was always one of the possible scenarios that could take place ever since we pulled back from the all-time high double top and we dropped over 10%. That creates lots of space for a daily lower high. We could say that we anticipated a daily lower high was the most likely scenario. What we were looking for from there was either another little higher low and bull break, or the confirmed daily downtrend into weekly consolidation. The other reason why it's not surprising is we've gone 65% plus since the all-time high, and the bull break of the all-time high, I should say 65% plus since our last weekly high or low, and the bull break of the all-time high lacked follow-through. And it was also a 12-hour head and shoulders. So we were keeping our eye on all of these things over the last few days. And again, I couldn't look at them and say it was the most likely scenario, but we knew to be anticipating this as part of our game plan. So now we zoom out and we look at weekly consolidation. What would be healthy? Well, let's look at our retracements. Since the last high or low, all-time high, we can say anything above 56.5 thousand will be a potential weekly bull flag. So the best case scenario for the Bitcoin bulls would be for this confirmed daily downtrend to not see any follow through. And again, conservative versus aggressive. A conservative trader is taking some position off the table. I am in conservative mode because I am at a point where on this year, I am very pleased with my cryptocurrency gains. And if I don't make another dollar in crypto, I am A-okay on the year. So I took a little bit of profit off of my Bitcoin swing from the monthly high or low position. And that's just going back to some cash. And I will look to enter, but not doing so yet. I'm not doing so yet because the shorter term timeframes are not oversold enough for me. If we see another leg down into clear 4-hour oversold conditions, then I'll be interested to start scaling back in what I exited yesterday. As far as a short-term pattern to be watching, I'm watching a 4-hour potential falling wedge. If this were to be a 4-hour falling wedge, I gotta draw it on the hourly. There's a lot of anchor points. But if this were to be a falling wedge that breaks bull, that keeps a weekly bull flag on the table. And this is the pattern that I would be keeping an eye on, and this is it on the 4-hour chart. So inside bars right now, as the bounce is struggling to get going, if this bounce does get going on the 4-hour, anything under 61.5 is a lower high. And again, just keeping an eye on this pattern. It's nice and clear for me. If it breaks bear, I won't keep an eye on it anymore. But if we bounce from here, that's going to mean it's even more valid in my opinion. So that's something I'm keeping an eye on if I were looking to be aggressive. And again, it also depends on how big are your other positions. If you've got a big long-term no touch and a solid swing position, you're not looking to do a whole lot unless you're in full-on aggressive mode. If I don't have a long-term swing from monthly or weekly setups in the previous few months, then I'm looking to be more aggressive on this dip. And I'm already starting to scale in. But because I personally already have my positions, I'm not adding to them. So again, these are all things to think about when you're determining, do you want to be aggressive or conservative? I don't love everybody bullish on Twitter. I don't love that everybody's looking for 100,000. I wish more people were calling this the top, and because double top at all-time highs and the run's over. And there's a few of those out there, but it would make me more comfortable if it were less everybody in camp bull. And I know Twitter, crypto Twitter is obviously going to be skewed to the bull side no matter what. But just an observation with social media. There was a ton of liquidations that went on with this bear break. I guess a lot of people were willing to go aggressive, anticipating that a new all-time high would have seen more notable follow-through. So the daily downtrend is now our guide as we scout a weekly higher low, and the bulls need a daily trend change back in their favor for a weekly higher low to be set. Bitcoin dominance chart confirmed a little daily bear flag. Weekly consolidation is underway, and we are just tightening up here, where we've got our double bottom at the low. TradingView just keeps randomly changing these colors on me. And now a weekly lower high. So it's a tightening range here. We're looking for a weekly higher low on this dominance chart, anything over 39.56. The tighter we get here, and this is it on the monthly time frame, the more I would expect the entire cryptocurrency space to see some decent volatility when this dominance chart breaks. And it's not as easy as it used to be, looking at the dominance chart and just being able to say, if this is going to break bull, that means the crypto space is dropping. And if it's going to break bear, it means the crypto space is strong and alts are leading. There was a period of 12 to 18 months where it was that simple and that consistent of a relationship between Bitcoin and alts. But ever since the pre-ETF run-up, where Bitcoin dominance bounced on the weekly here, the relationship has shifted. And it's been less clear and less obvious in that regard. But as far as the tightening range, that's definitely worth paying attention to. Ethereum, so close to all-time highs. I loved the setup, and I went aggressive on Ethereum. And I was looking for an all-time high this run because a number of things that I was looking for as far as pieces of the puzzle were all taking shape. I was looking at the dominance chart to set a daily lower high on this bounce. I was looking for the ETH BTC chart to give us a confirmed daily trend change and bull flag. So check mark 2 things off here. I then needed to see Bitcoin give us a 12-hour high or low here. And if we did, Ethereum would be at all-time highs right now, in my opinion. Because a 12-hour high or low and then tightening range, we had just started seeing this breakout on ETH BTC. Things had just started heating up notably, and Ethereum was making its move where we shot up to 4,300, and the only resistance levels from there are 4,375 and then the all-time high at 4,384. So essentially we got less than 3% away from the all-time high. We got there, we rejected, downtrending support line. This was a bit of a megaphone, which we bounced off that support and even gave it another attempt. And on this drop this morning is when I stopped out of my aggressive position. So again, long-term no touch, swing trade based on monthly high or low, added short-term entries in the 4,000 to 4,150 range, looking to be very aggressive on an Ethereum new all-time high. So I stopped out of my very aggressive positions when we failed the all-time high and ended up with giving back a small amount of profit, not very significant, and patiently waiting now. And I have not stopped out of any swing position of Ethereum because we're still in a daily uptrend. If we drop down and break 38.85, daily downtrend will be confirmed, and we'll be watching for the potential of weekly consolidation here as well. So again, I'm not in camp, bulls in complete control. We're headed to 100,000. We're going to have a huge end of the year. I'm not in that camp. It can absolutely be on the table. It's a possibility. I'm not denying that, and I will position for it. But I am just as much protecting on the move to the downside. When's the last time we've seen monthly consolidation on Bitcoin? The answer is it's been a long time. A big move, I should say. So for me personally, I don't have that bias or that really high, 90% chance we're going to run to 100,000 before the end of the year. And I know a lot of people out there have that, and that's fine, and they're positioning based off of that. But again, that just goes back to me being more conservative where, I'll give it 65%, but I am not all aboard team 100,000 at this point. I will quickly jump on. If the weekly high or low set as a bull flag. But again, that's what the beauty of long-term no-touch positions are, because it doesn't matter what happens here over the next few months. That position doesn't get touched. So Ethereum is tightening up on the daily. Best case for the bulls would be to hold 38.85. Hourly bounce is weak at this point. Bulls are buying the dip, but they're not doing anything in terms of going on offense. And not close to oversold conditions. That's another reason I'm not going aggressive. The hourly kissed oversold. The 4 hours not close to oversold. So being back to more cautious now that Bitcoin is in a daily downtrend. One thing to note, the crypto stocks are stronger than Bitcoin. MARA, trying for a daily high or low, and is currently 5% plus above the low of October 22nd. Bitcoin is 2% below that low. So a notable difference. Coin still looking for a daily high or low. HUT looking for a daily high or low. Be cautious of that rising wedge. But crypto names in the stock market still in a clear uptrend. So that's a notable difference, and that's a tally in favor of Team Bull. BITO, on the other hand, with little price history, is at all-time lows on a big gap down today. And that's the recent ETF. So as far as the big two, Bitcoin and Ethereum, that's what we're looking at in the short term. I'm not going to make any actions. I'm not going to take any actions as far as trades unless we see a clear leg down into clear 4-hour oversold conditions. A more aggressive bull could be looking to enter on these 4-hour inside bars and that downtrending support line, trying to position for a weekly bull flag. SHIB, putting on a show. And once that tightening range broke bull, it was no looking back. Bull's in absolute complete control. Backburners have been beauties. 5-minute oversold conditions earlier this morning, straight into an all-time high. 48% from the last 5-minute oversold in the span of 3.5 hours. Doesn't get any better than that. 15-minute equilibrium just broke bull, getting a little bit rising wedgy. We know rising wedges have less probability of playing out when we're in blue sky breakout. Rising wedges definitely break bull plenty in blue sky breakout runs, but it is a 15-minute rising wedge to pay attention to. And we are watching for hourly. No, we're looking for, if it confirms with a bear break, I would be keeping an eye out for a 4-hour higher low to then be a result of that. Hourly backburner will certainly be on the table at some point. 15-minute oversold backburner will be on the table at some point. Congrats to the bulls. And just looking at 1,000 at a time. 7,000, 7,500, 8,000 as far as resistance levels. Psychological. SOLUSDT, it's still a double top at the all-time high as far as I'm concerned. A bull break by 1% does not cut it. A triple top now. And we did lose a little daily support. Looking at it from the weekly perspective, still in an uptrend. Even if we do pull back, we'll look for a weekly higher low. And why I'm keeping an eye on SOL, even though it did fail this convincing all-time high, is because of the BTC pairing. We haven't confirmed a daily trend change yet. So bigger picture here, the weekly is bouncing off EMA 12. We need a new high. You know, if SOL's going to get a powerful move going, this needs to break 467 for a confirmed bull flag. And we need a daily trend change. So bulls attempted a daily bull flag, couldn't confirm it, and it's still within range, you know, still within striking distance if the bulls can get over 34.8 and 37. So just keeping an eye out to see if the BTC pairing can get our attention and tell us, hey, pay attention to the US dollar pairing again. We're going to make another move towards that all-time high. MATIC standing out as a lead bull today. Had a dip as well, but a V-shaped bounce. Nice hourly equilibrium on watch. Viewing this as a high, low, lower high. Someone might say, is this a cup and handle? And the first thing I do is measure the retracement of this consolidation. And I would say it's in the gray zone, 40%, 45% pullback. So it is possible. But scouting an hourly higher low here and tightening hourly range. 4-hour, you can see if we break bear, we'll be looking for a 4-hour higher low and tightening range. But I like the hourly for clarity at the moment. And the BTC pairing, this is a hindsight drawing. I was not watching this, but just as I checked in on MATIC, it stood out to me. So daily trend change confirming higher low and higher high. Now zooming out, weekly bear break lacked any follow through, bouncing off monthly EMA 12. So bulls want to see this BTC pairing keep its momentum. 3613 is the next major resistance level, and the US dollar pairing is looking up at the all-time high of 270 if this bull momentum can continue. Again, got to keep that strong BTC pairing comparative to Bitcoin. And of course, Bitcoin needs to find a bottom and get some 4-hour bounce going to try and give some confidence back into the cryptocurrency space. Because again, you got to think about it. Just think about the psychological mindset where you have a lot of longs stopping out that were perhaps over leveraged. And right now it's, you know, we're tense up a little bit as far as, okay, bears just got a pretty solid win over the last 24 hours. Is it going to get worse? Are we going to drop down? You know, people watching the head and shoulders pattern are looking for a measured move down to 56, 55, I believe, maybe even a little bit lower. Forget where those head and shoulders are putting their measured moves at. 55s. So establish your game plan. You looking for entries on weekly higher lows? Are you just sitting tight and hoping for new all-time highs and weekly higher lows from here? Are you bearish? I'm not bearish, but again, just not on team. We're going to 100,000. There's no doubt. I'll be ready for it, but I will be cautious in the meantime. I appreciate you watching. I hope you have a good day, and we will check back in before the weekend. Flowers are still going for the pollinators. This is the home stretch. There'll be a lot less bees soon. Dill, lettuce, some peas that did not find the wire to trellis. These are some, I forget if they're Chinese or Japanese, but winged bean, winged something bean. These are basil plants that started as seedlings back in late May. So 4-month-old big bushes.